Welcome to another episode of the Meat-N-Tater Show. I'm here with my co-host, Meat.
Greetings and salutations, everyone.
I'm Tater, and we're excited to bring you this week's show. We're going to make our way through some meaty facts with a heaping side of buttery, tatery opinions. This week's topics are updates to the George Floyd case and top 5 Little Debbie snacks or snack cakes, and one's got to go.
All right, so we're going to jump into our first topic, the new updates on George Floyd's case.
All right, so I'll just kind of hit some highlight things on the case, and then we're actually gonna transition to a little truer to our Tinfoil Tuesday portion of the show with a little bit of conspiracy about big government and potential race wars. So we'll give you a little teaser there to get you through some of these more fact-based things right now. So the first thing we'll talk about are some independent reports or the county report that came up for George Floyd's autopsy. So just to remind you, if you haven't seen it, the original city report said that basically, I'm just wrapping it up probably maybe too loosely, but basically it was complications due to his health is the reason why he died, that it's not reasonable to rule that it was homicide. George Floyd's family filed for an independent report to be done by the same man who did Jeffrey Epstein's, which, you know, if we're putting on our tinfoil hats, we're diving deep fast if we're gonna.
Yeah, that guy's looking for stuff.
But yeah, so they got him to do one report on the autopsy or on the body, and then we also have the county report showing both of those agreed with each other, but disagreed with the city report, which is that it was death by homicide due to asphyxia. Meat, what do you think about those updates on the coroner's report?
Personally, I am still of the opinion that I could hear him breathing and he was talking. So I am more aligned with the first coroner's report, but I also understand that these people are experts. They're medical examiners, so they are, by requirement of the job, doctors. So, you know, they probably know what they're talking about a little bit better than I do. So I have to probably defer to them. You know, it's 2-1. That third, there are 3, by the way, and 2 of them say that it was a murder, and only one of them says that it wasn't a murder. So kind of have to defer to the experts agreeing that it is a murder. So that's kind of my take on it. How about you?
And the one that's in the minority is the one that's closest in, like, as far as municipal connections, it's the one that's closest to the police officers.
Very true.
They probably work really closely in a symbiotic relationship a lot of times. So I'm not trying to, defame the coroner saying that they're being dishonest, but they, you find a lot of other things when you're looking for one specific thing and you end up finding a whole bunch of things. It kind of makes it easy to, I don't know, maybe create a little wiggle room where there probably shouldn't be wiggle room, just for the sake of people that you're, used to working pretty closely with.
So tell me about what you think the relationship between Chauvin and Floyd was.
So I've heard a couple different sources. One, I will admit, is a conspiracy podcast that kind of brought this up, but I have heard some other sources bring up the relationship between Derek Chauvin and George Floyd, that Chauvin was the police detail at a club for a long time. For I think 17 years is the time frame that they gave. And he was a police presence at this club to kind of help keep things under control, or if somebody needed to be taken to jail, he would be the guy to do that. Well, at the same particular club, George Floyd also served as like the private, like hired by the bar to kind of be a bouncer. So there's potential problems in their relationship here, or maybe a potential, if you want to go on conspiracy, the conspiracy train with me, because I'm definitely shoveling coal in the engine right now with a few little nuggets here, but maybe this is part of a much bigger thing that somebody else tried to take advantage of to create some very, very big tensions, which I would say that they succeeded in that. But there's potentially a very long history with these two men over the last decade or two.
And that kind of makes sense in the context of a video. I think it was in a New York Times article that was, the video is pieced together from all the different angles of footage that we got over the course of that week. And in the video, you can kind of see that at one point, Floyd does end up handcuffed in the back of a cruiser. And to stay there, all that the officer that put him in the cruiser had to do was just shut the door, and he'd have been, on his way to county for at least that night, maybe still alive with us today. But what ends up happening a few more minutes into the video is that Chauvin comes around to the other side, opens the door, and this is just what it appears to happen. I'm not sure if it's Chauvin that pulls him out, but this is just kind of what it appears happens. Chauvin goes over there, opens the door, pulls him out of the car, and then he ends up planted on the sidewalk next to the vehicle for 9 minutes. And most of you guys probably know the rest of that story. So your point about them having a previous relationship almost seems to kind of make that like a really personal experience for the two of them. And so it kind of adds to that intent. What's your take on that?
Well, speaking of intent, they've upgraded the charges against Chauvin. So they basically have taken it from third degree, which, if you're not familiar with the third, second, and the first degree, it kind of breaks down like this. Some states call third degree murder, they call it manslaughter. So it's like you killed somebody, but it was unintentional. And then second degree is you killed somebody, but it wasn't premeditated, like it was heat of the moment kind of a situation, or like you get in a fight with somebody and you hit them just the right way or whatever, you stab them and they die. And then first degree is like you did it with intent, like you made a plan, you set it up, and you went on your way to take that person's life. So with the George Floyd case, Chauvin has been taken, I'm probably going to say his name like 300 different ways. We'll just call Derek Chauvin, I don't know, douchebag, I don't know, whatever, make it easier to pronounce. So he went from manslaughter, which was an unintentional killing of a person, to second degree, which is a little, you kind of have intent in killing somebody at that point.
And so, yeah, I'm kind of confused. I think there's manslaughter and murder, and I think he's being charged for manslaughter and murder initially.
Oh, okay.
And now it's second degree murder. So,
okay. So I probably conflated some things there.
Neither one of us are lawyers, though. So if we have any lawyers listening that want to school us on what we're butchering here right now, we know that right now there's definitely a second degree murder charge on Chauvin. And so, and then it sounded like you were going to say something else too.
I was going to say, like, if this, one of the things about it being upgraded is also that they wanted to be able to get to the other officers that were involved, because they charged them with aiding and abetting. So there's kind of a double-edged sword there. So yes, it puts the prosecutors in the position of having to prove intent for murder, but now they also get the other officers on the hook for this pretty heinous and abusive treatment and killing of a person. So who knows, if they're able to uncover the history between these guys, could you see them bumping this all the way up to first degree? And like going for the maximum possible? That's a stretch, but hey, that's why we're here.
It could potentially be first degree, but I think the key element of first degree murder is that premeditated element. And so when you start to think about, like, if they were planning this, do a couple of city cops have it in them to plan something that'll set off, riots across the country, kind of thing?
Yeah. Well, that's our juicy conspiracy part, is maybe they did. Maybe they did. Maybe there's money and power involved in starting a race war. So
yeah, you're going to have to dive into that one just a smidge.
Yeah. So here's, again, a little bit truer to kind of what we do on Tinfoil Tuesdays, is we want to kind of show the conspiracy angle of this, because, the psychology of conspiracies that we talked about before, like filling the gaps of uncertainty with certainty. Sometimes you find nuggets that may not be 100% true, but you find something that makes you a little bit more aware of your surroundings. And I think I kind of held on to here in this is that there is an attempt for maybe the expansion of government control over the people, in fact, like federal government, state government, whatever, the desire to expand the power that a municipality or a state or a federal government can have over its people. And so one of the ways to do that is to create chaos and create dissension. And what do we have? I mean, just Google riot videos, Google protests and see what happens. And just there are compilations of videos of rioters hurting police and hurting innocent people. There are videos of police hurting innocent people, and it's just expanding and expanding and expanding. And so that's when, the conspiracy is that this is all planned. This is all planned by higher powers to drive a wedge between the authority and the people, to then expand the governmental powers and oppress us even more.
So are you saying that Trump could possibly be the Emperor, like from Star Wars?
Oh yeah, Trump is definitely, like, if this particular conspiracy theory is true, like, Trump is going to be in power for the next 30 years, and he will become our first
I was gonna
fascist
say,
dictator.
because he's kind of doing like the whole, he's got emergency powers now, and then
Mm-hmm.
we're expecting him to relinquish them whenever the threat goes away, but then instead something else happens, and now he decides to reshape the republic,
Right.
into an empire, and then what happens in the rest of that story.
The the empirical states of America. So
Yeah,
I have to
here
change
it
that U
comes.
to an E. So it
ESA.
could. Hey,
SA.
and here's what's really interesting about the history of politics is that, kind of on a maybe less conspiratorial note, the history of politics, like, you have people building on the legacy of other people to create, like, their own legacy. So you can go back in our history and find people that were similarly in personality and political style to Trump, but it gets magnified. And so what I find awful about our political system is that you have multiple people on differing sides of the aisle when it comes to politics, trying their best to expand their own power. And that's just, in my mind, as I interpret it, that's just a historical political fact.
Yeah.
Like, are we really going to be able to try to get our congressmen and women, our senators, and all of our supposed public servants to relinquish their six-figure salaries and their benefits and retirement so that they could go back to serving the people the way that
Exactly. And that's
we
kind of what I
were
was just about to say, is that it's
probably not.
a symptom of people being career politicians. Like,
Mm-hmm.
whenever politicians were invented, basically in the United States, they had to go back to their day jobs. They weren't allowed to be just career politicians. So whatever legislation they dreamed up, they had to deal with the rules that they implemented. And that's not a thing anymore. So for whatever reason, they always seem to have some kind of loophole where it doesn't apply to congressmen and senators and stuff like that. So brain
Yep.
food.
So fight the power, people.
Right
Fight
on.
it. Fight it. So just a little sticker to put on your tinfoil hat is that the government's behind all this. They're putting together a race war to divide us and to keep us from loving each other, keep us from tearing them down. So
Is that what you put on
um,
tinfoil hats? You put stickers on them? Is that
you put whatever you want. You put a
like a
toothpick in them. You put stickers on it. You put animal feces. Whatever you want to. I mean,
bumper stickers?
yeah, whatever you want, man.
Coexist. Okay, sorry. So yeah, that's our conspiracy for this week. This is all a big ploy to expand the reach of government using using a race war. Tell us what you
Yeah.
guys think. Leave us something in the comments to talk to you guys about.
All right, now we're going to go on to our next segment, which is a little fun. And as we discuss this, I think we might have a little unmendable tension between us on this. So we've got our top five.
It's maybe the last episode, guys.
That's right. It might be. So we got our top five snack cakes. We got, in no particular order as of right now, we got Swiss rolls, Twinkies, oatmeal cream pie, brownies, and Star Crunch. So we're going to basically put this in order of our favorites, and then we're going to do one's got to go. So every little child that was happy because of this particular snack, I'm going to make a delineation of those children are going to lose all those happy memories. So I'm going to actually start off with the one I'm going to keep is oatmeal cream pie.
Yep, that's my top one, buddy.
You've got different sizes. You've got some with more filling. You've got, like, they can be eaten warm. They can be eaten cold. Like they can be eaten 3 at a time. Like you
Box at a
have no
time.
limits. No limits with an oatmeal cream pie. It's
Also,
got
if you don't like oatmeal cream pies, don't listen to our show anymore.
That's right.
No, I'm
Unsubscribe.
just kidding. But
Tell us all of your
seriously,
social media handles, and we're going to block you.
we're gonna harass you.
That's right. Give us your address. We'll show up with toilet paper.
Yeah, exactly.
So for sure, my number one, definitely oatmeal cream pie. It's got to stay.
Atta babe.
What do you got for your number 2?
My number 2 is Twinkies, the good old American treat. Man, I can't remember what his name is. Right? Is it Tallahassee on Zombieland?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's his thing.
It's his thing, man. There's a reason why he wants a Twinkie. That's
right.
It's a real treat. It's way better than snowballs. So,
which is what he gets stuck with at first,
yeah,
right?
Exactly. Yeah. What's your number 2?
Okay, so my number 2, I've got Star Crunch.
Star Crunch. Good choice.
I'll let you on a little insight of my childhood. Used to be a pretty obese child, very unhealthy. Doctors basically said, you got to change this. You're going to be diabetic at like 12, and it's all going to be because of your very bad diet. So, Star Crunches, though, that's what got me there. Like, if I can say that there was anything that got me to that childhood obesity level, it was Star Crunch. And nothing takes you back like these snacks like Star Crunch. It's got the crispy, it's got the Rice Krispies in it, it's got the chocolate, it's got caramel, and they've got just like I can always pick up on a little bit of saltiness. So it's like there's a chef that made this. This is not just your regular everyday snack. This is absolutely culinary genius with the Star Crunch. So that's got to follow up the OCP for me.
It's got the chemical addiction just baked right in.
That's right. That's right. It's all molded in there.
All right. And so your number 3?
Okay, so number 3, I've got the brownies, and mostly because of they bring a little diversity. You have some that are plain, you have some that have like little candies on there. You got some with the pecans or the nuts or whatever fake food it probably is. Like, it's delicious though. I mean, just again, those things can be eaten hot or cold. So the brownies, in my mind, come in middle of the road. They could kind of fluctuate 3, 4, maybe 5, because this list was hard to really break it down. I mean, I could see them leaving, but I can't turn down a brownie of any kind. That's my biggest weakness is brownies.
Brownies. Any kind of, well, maybe we shouldn't get into that. Any kind of special brownies? No. Anyways.
One brownie leads to another.
Yeah, my number 3, Star Crunch, like you said. Some culinary genius somewhere. If you could take a addictive treat and just package it into a little black box, like that's what it would look like. Star Crunch, bingo, bango, bongo.
Yeah, case closed. There's no rebuttal. All right, so I think so. Since we're going to reveal number 4, it's going to make it pretty obvious what my number 5 is going to be. And so my number 4 is Swiss rolls.
I think our number 4s are actually the same. So I have a typo in there, but yeah.
Okay.
Number 4 is the same for both of us. So Swiss rolls.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay. So there we go. So Swiss rolls, I really enjoy just like peeling them open and just like cutting them up and just like little slices of them. It's almost like, trying to make yourself feel fancy, like you're eating caviar. Or, I don't know. Just like having a nice little afternoon snack.
I'm a little embarrassed to say that the way I approach those is completely the opposite.
You stuff it in one cheek.
If I take one and if I put it in the corner of one jaw, I can fit the other corner. And the whole thing just fits in there just perfectly. And so, yeah, I'm happy camper.
Double stuff on the Swiss rolls. That's a good tactic, though.
Yeah.
That's a good tactic.
Just the complete opposite. I don't sit there to enjoy it. It's just like, yeah, I'm trying to put on weight. I'll go for Swiss rolls.
Hey, a little side note. Do you remember when we had the idea that we were going to bulk up to 200 pounds and become miniature Mariusz Pujanowskis? Do you remember that? And we just ate like triple Whoppers and extra large fries and extra large Dr. Peppers every single day.
For months. Yeah. That was one of the best times of my life. Yeah.
So it looks like we probably should have put some more little Debbies in the rotation, because that probably would help us. Especially that double stuff technique would have gotten us there a little bit faster.
Yeah, man. Live and you learn.
That's right.
Hindsight's 2020.
Yeah. So my one that's got to go is Twinkies. It's got to be Twinkies. And the only reason is it's just, to me, it doesn't have much flavor other than just sugar. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, sugar, straight sugar in any form is good. It's delicious, but it doesn't bring any pizzazz. It doesn't, it just shows up to the party with like, just like khaki shorts and a button-up white shirt. Like it's kind of plain. I need a little extra, but Twinkie doesn't bring it.
Tallahassee would be so disappointed in you.
He would have assumed I was a zombie and shot me right in the head.
Yeah, if he heard you talk like that, he definitely would. So then, yeah, my number 5, one's got to go. Brownies. I don't know. It's just, they're like little dense bricks. They stick to my teeth real bad. That's the part that I can't get around. So brownies. I really do. Honestly, I do like the brownies, but just on the list, they don't stand up to all the rest of the stuff. It's just, I really don't have anything bad to say about them other than they stick to my teeth, but man, they're delicious too.
Yeah. Now the Twinkies, the thing about Twinkies, it also kind of I have to take them off the list, is because those are some that if you put a dozen in front of me, I could put them down. Like not even chew. They're just that soft. Just
not even touching your teeth.
Yeah. Sounds like sucking up marbles with a vacuum cleaner. Just
Oh man. Man, I really want a Twinkie so bad right now.
I mean, I would go for one of each of these, honestly.
Little Debbie should be paying us for this.
That's right. Little Debbie, if you hear us,
yeah.
If you hear us out there, we need a sponsor. We would be happy to have you sponsor our show.
I would just do it for the little cakes. Or Twinkies or Hostess. You guys too.
Hostess. Yeah, totally.
We'll take free cakes.
Hey, Mrs. Baird's. We don't care. We just want snack cakes.
We just want snack cakes.
Sara Lee, best choice. Great value. Any snack cake developer, we're here.
Hook us up. All right, well, everybody, that's our show. Thanks for tuning in. Please subscribe to the show if you liked it. Comment, share it with everyone you know. Rate it, review our show, and then check out all of the sources that we mentioned. Check them out in the show notes down below.
And also, don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Meat-N-Tater Show. And until next time, keep those tinfoil hats polished and ready.
Maybe with a couple stickers on them. This is Meat saying, don't let the lizard people bite.
See ya.
Bye.